Good evening and welcome to the Guild for Exceptional Children's Thanks for Giving celebration. I'm Ken Rosato, anchor for Channel 7's Eyewitness News this morning and the Master of Ceremony for tonight's event. For the past 8 years, I've been honored to be the MC for this yearly celebration. All segments of this event have been pre-recorded except for the live raffle drawings that will take place after this presentation. At that time, we kindly ask you to go on the Guild for Exceptional Children's Facebook or YouTube pages for the live drawing. Good luck to all who've purchased tickets. This year, the GEC is honoring individuals who've gone above and beyond to help children and adults living with developmental disabilities during this unprecedented time in our history. All of our honorees have demonstrated extreme acts of kindness that will forever be appreciated. Since 2020, we've had incredible challenges. Unfortunately, these challenges had an impact on nonprofit organizations. Your support is greatly needed to help the GEC continue their mission of care. You can text GEC to number 56512 to make a contribution during this presentation or anytime you choose. To begin our program, some of GEC's program participants will now say the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of America
and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In 1958, the GEC was founded by parents who wanted to provide a better quality of life for their children with special needs. Let's take a look back at GEC's early days.
The Guild has been on the leading edge of services for people with developmental disabilities since the very beginning. They participated in lawsuits that forced the Department of Education to include children with special needs within their classes. When it came to providing services for adults, the Guild actually opened the very first residence to ever open in New York State, the Senator William T. Conklin and Jessie Conklin residence. Senator Conklin had a son with Down syndrome. And as his son and other children with developmental disabilities were getting older, the question was, well, where are they going to live? Will they live with me as their parent forever? Senator Conklin also went on to institute legislation that made it possible for New York State to actually pay for these residential services, because prior to that, it was all paid for through fundraising. The Guild has continued in that tradition. We today have a preschool that serves 225 students. We are serving hundreds of adults with developmental disabilities in our day programs, and we have 17 residences for these folks. Our success has been great, and we fought great odds throughout our history, and these challenges continue.
Caroline Mansueto is GEC's Director of Development and would like to take this opportunity to thank the major sponsors of tonight's event.
Thank you, Ken. The GEC is deeply grateful for your dedicated support to our mission of care. For the past 8 years, you have been the MC for this major event and, additionally, helped to increase public awareness regarding the needs of children and adults living with developmental disabilities. Ken, I hope you realize that you are indeed a special part of the GEC family and loved by all our community. I would like to take this moment to greatly thank everyone who supported the event by taking a journal ad, raffle tickets, or made a donation. Special appreciation to our major sponsors for their generosity. They include co-event sponsor Michael Lamberg, Lamb Insurance Services. Our benefactors, Arthur Idella, Esquire, Law Offices of Idella, Bertuna, and Camus. Mike Connors, Esquire, Connors and Sullivan, Attorneys at Law. Barbara Jermack, Hub International Limited. John Marzo, Lexia Transportation and Bus Company. Law Office of Dominic M. Recchia Jr. Nick and Lucy Saragusa, NDS Realty Corporation. And Linda Victoria. Our co-benefactors include John Abib Habib, MSI and M-Cloud Serve, Marion Cleaver and Alan Greenberg, John Cronin, Bella Bus Corporation, Emblem Health, Charles Viella, Sovereign Financial Group Incorporated, Susan Flashenberg, the Gabriel family, George Lopez and Deborah Harrison, Park Asia Restaurant, Meridian Properties, Rotary Club of Verrazano. And now we thank those individuals who donated to our gift raffle prizes, include Pat Romano, Joseph Riley, Ann and Richard Scott, Marine Park Golf Course, and Paul and Jerry Cusone. Again, thank you all for making this event a success, and I wish you enjoy the program.
It is my pleasure to introduce Joseph Riley, GEC's CEO and Executive Director.
Thank you all for joining us this evening. There is no shortage of people tuning in tonight who haven't contributed in some meaningful way to GEC. We are very grateful to the loyal support and friendship that we have from our benefactors here at the Guild for Exceptional Children. I also want to say thank you to all of our generous supporters and all of our wonderful honorees. You affirm what we already know. There are some very good people in the world. And a very special thank you to Mr. Ken Rosato from WABC News, a great friend to the GEC. Ken has once again donated his valuable time and talent in helping the Guild for Exceptional Children in our mission to care for and support children and adults with developmental disabilities. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, Ken. You are truly a class act. We had hoped that this year we would be able to hold this event in person. But during the planning stages, we were worried about gathering a lot of people together in a crowded venue, and we didn't want to ask people to take on that risk. Hopefully next year, we will be able to be together once again. Like so many businesses, the pandemic hit us hard. We lost somebody early in the pandemic, somebody dear to us, and we felt it. The Guild, for our part, reacted quickly. We closed our school and all of our day programs and pivoted to remote learning wherever we could. We lost millions of dollars in revenue, but it was the right thing to do to keep people safe. We opened up COVID care units where people who had COVID-19, who weren't sick enough to be on a respirator in a hospital, were able to recover in a COVID recovery unit without bringing the infection home to their families. We couldn't close our residences. People live there. They're 24 hours. So we thought of a way to minimize the impact of the virus finding a way into each of our group homes. Staff volunteered to work 7-day shifts, 7 days a night straight, to care for the people in each of our residences. Many of our brave staff volunteered to work multiple 7-day shifts. That's dedication. That's love. Pre-pandemic, GEC served about 700 individuals with developmental disabilities and provided support to their families. We also employed over 500 staff. We lost a step during COVID-19. Because of our program closures and because of staffing shortages, we're down about 20% from where we used to be. But we're working to get that back, to build that back up. We recently reopened one of our day programs that had been located in Marine Park prior to the pandemic. We relocated it to Dyker Heights, the Knights of Columbus there, and just reopened it last week, and it's doing very well. But we plan on opening up more space and hiring more staff in the near future. The events and isolation that have occurred during the past year and a half, I think have given people a chance to consider their lives and the choices they've made. Did I make the right choices in my life? Am I living a good life? Whenever I think of that, it brings me back to a very special, very favorite holiday story of mine. I know the holidays are right around the corner, so I feel it's relevant. But in Dickens' A Christmas Carol, I think the most important scene is when Scrooge is confronted by the ghost of his dead partner, Jacob Marley. Jacob Marley tells him that no amount of eternal regret can make up for a life's opportunities misused. And then he goes on to explain about the heavy chain Scrooge has forged in his life through self-serving decisions he's made. But Scrooge replied, "But you were always a good man of business, Jacob." And Marley wailed at him. "Business? Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, benevolence were all my business. The dealings of my counting house were but a drop in the comprehensive ocean of my business." I think the theme here is that maybe making money is not the most important thing we should aspire to in our lives. But serving others, caring for others, should be at the forefront. At GEC, humankind is our business. We are fortunate to have friends and supporters who feel the same way and have the same values. During the pandemic, we had many angels in the community, some of whom are our honorees this evening, who came across and helped the Guild out in any way that they could. Local politicians donated PPE, masks, gloves, gowns, disinfectant, sanitizer. Family members, Marion Cleaver and Alan Greenberg, always generous donors to the Guild for Exceptional Children, also donated their time to help raise money. Community leader Kelly Graham raised money and organized local restaurants to prepare and deliver Easter and Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners to all of our residences. Taylor Harlow and Susan Somm started a GoFundMe page so that they could raise some extra money for those DSPs that were sheltering in place for those long hours. John Cronin, who has always been a generous supporter of the GEC, continued to be a great friend during the pandemic. And Deborah and Gary Mirabella from Max Challenge not only donated $15,000 and truckloads of PPE, but they also ran exercise classes for the individuals to help them stay healthy and stay connected during isolation. GEC is fortunate to have many friends who make humankind their business. So, at the risk of sounding heavy-handed, as the holiday season approaches and we try to struggle through this isolation that the pandemic has left us with, I'm asking each of you to make charity, mercy, and benevolence all part of your business. Please continue to support the Guild for Exceptional Children in any way you can, and help us to continue our legacy of 63 years of building better lives for people with developmental disabilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Next, I'd like to welcome Frank Senna, GEC's President of the Board of Directors.
Hello and welcome to our GEC Thanks for Giving celebration. I am Frank Senna, the Board President, and on behalf of the entire Board of Directors, thank you for supporting this event and all the help that you have given to the Guild over the years. We had hoped to see you in person this year, but we were not sure that all would have been comfortable in person. Honestly, when things got better in the spring, we planned to be in person, then things got worse and we changed again. And now, with a seemingly greater sense of ease, we second-guess ourselves for the last decision. But here we are, together online, and we do have an exciting program for you tonight, including heartwarming stories about truly caring people, as well as prizes and raffles. We hope to be in person next year. The recent events surrounding the 20th anniversary of 9/11 gave me some food for thought as I tried to frame my remarks for tonight. As much as I didn't want to relive those events, there are two images that will always replay for me on that horrific day. Thousands of people fleeing Lower Manhattan by any and all means, concerned for their own safety, and a few hundred people running towards the crumbling buildings, concerned for the safety and well-being of others. In our small way, what we are celebrating tonight is a repeat of that process. In the darkest days of the pandemic, when there were more unknowns than knowns, when politics at every level and persuasion clouded judgments, when the medical experts disagreed on everything, and before the vaccines provided a potential light at the end of the tunnel, there were again two groups of people. One group, sheltered in place as advised, separated from friends, family, and jobs, and seeking to protect themselves and immediate family. And another smaller group who found a way to look up and help others perceived to be in greater need. Tonight, we celebrate this second group and thank them with the most sincere words and accolades that our meager language skills can offer. These are the people who came out of shelter in place to offer assistance to the GEC and its people during those darkest times. These are the people who had the same anxieties and fears and stress as everyone else, and yet had the Spirit of God to push those fears aside and help others. How fortunate are we to be here tonight to tell their stories and formally thank them. Tonight, the entire Guild for Exceptional Children community honors Marion Cleaver and Alan Greenberg, John Cronin, Kelly Graham, Taylor Harwell, Deborah and Gary Mirabella, and Susan Somm. We hope you enjoy our program, gain a better appreciation for the efforts of our honorees, find a personal way to thank these folks, and maybe win a raffle or a prize along the way. Again, thanks for supporting the Guild for Exceptional Children.
I have known Paul Cassone, GEC's former CEO and executive director, for many years. Paul's talents as a musician, singer, and songwriter have enabled him to create wonderful original songs. Last year, Paul performed the song Everyday Heroes. The song paid tribute to GEC's direct service professionals, heroes who helped in this time of crisis. This year, another song composed by Paul, Here's to Good Friends, will specially thank our honorees and all GEC friends for their support and generosity. Thank you, Paul, for your continued inspiration and talent.
Hey there, my name is Paul Cassone. I am the former executive director of the Guild, and more importantly, I'm the brother of Frank Cassone, who lives in the Guild's Conklin residence. The Guild has done a wonderful job with Frank. He has many friends, he has many people who care about him, and I'm very thankful to the Guild for their terrific work. The Guild can't do what it does by itself. It needs friends, it needs people in the community, it needs people to help out in a variety of different ways. And so in terms of thanking them, this evening is meant to honor people who have been particularly helpful to the Guild over the years. I'm really thankful to them, and I am sending out this song that I wrote called Here's to Good Friends, both to them and to all of you who are supporting the Guild so well. Thank you so much. Here's to good friends, the ones we hold dear, the ones who will tell us what we need to hear, the ones who love us, right or wrong. To all my good friends, I give you this song. I've been so lucky and I've been so blessed. In spite of my failings, I've found success. For I've known love and I've known good times. I have known friendship and written some rhymes. Here's to good friends, the ones we hold dear, the ones who will tell us what we need to hear, the ones who love us, right or wrong. To all my good friends, I give you this song. It took me long years to write this short song. I tried and I tried, but kept getting it wrong. I thought about my life and what had gone right, and I realized the song was right here in plain sight. Here's to good friends, the ones we hold dear, give you this song. Life is too short, we get only one turn. With luck we find beauty, but we sometimes get burned. But if you've had a true friend, perhaps a love, you've experienced a piece of heaven above. Here's to good friends, the ones we hold dear, the ones who will tell us what we need to hear, the ones who love us right or wrong. To all my good friends, I give you this song. And to all those good friends, I give you this song. Thank you, good friends. Thank you, friends of the Guild. Thank you, honorees. I hope that you have a pleasant evening and wish you very, very happy holidays. Bye.
I'm pleased to introduce our first honorees, Marion Cleaver and Alan Greenberg.
Hi, I'm Marion Cleaver. I'm a board member of the Guild, and this is my husband, Alan Greenberg.
Hi, I'm Alan Greenberg. I'm Marion Cleaver's tag-along.
It was 1994 when my grandmother passed away. And up until 1994, my Aunt Mildred, who was developmentally disabled, was living with her. And my grandmother's plan was to have Mildred live with my mother. Instead, what happened was my grandmother forgot to, as I'm fond of saying, notify God, because my mother predeceased her by 3 months. And I wound up with Mildred in my 2-bedroom apartment with a teenage girl and Mildred. And we started looking for a suitable place for Mildred, realizing that she couldn't live in the house that she had been living in for 68 years. And somehow, and I really don't know how, we found the Guild, we being me and my sister. And because this was a very unique situation of 2 nieces taking care of an elderly aunt, the Guild made every effort to help us in every way that they could. And what was interesting was Mildred all of a sudden had a life. She was going to dances. She was going to, this is still living with me or living in the house, her house with aides. She was going to parties. She had friends. It was unbelievable. And we were told that she would be moving into Olga's house when they finished it. I met Arlene, who was president of the Guild at the time, and told me to come to a meeting. And I did. And I realized that this is an organization that I would like to be part of. I didn't realize that there was such organization. I mean, I had supported everything that I ever got. I supported dances. I didn't go to the galas, but I sent a check. And it became interesting being part of the organization in that meant. And then I ran for the board. And I lost because not enough people knew me. But they said you could be parliamentarian. And from that, I became treasurer. And that's how I started, and my associate just came along.
Well, I met Mildred right after meeting Marion. And I was impressed by what was going on at Olga's house. Then I met some of the officers here at the main building, and I was really impressed about how friendly they are, how accepting they are. And Marion and I started talking about it, and she said she wants to run for the board, and I said, I will support you 1,000%, and if you need me to do anything, just ask. And that's what's been going on.
Well, when Olga's house went on lockdown, and I realized that the staff was going to be there 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, I wanted to do something for them. And one of the things I was thinking of doing is, well, they probably don't have too much extra money, so why not send them dinner and ask them what they want to eat? And it was wherever they wanted, so it ranged from like pizza to Geno's, plug for Geno's, right? But we also realized that there were certain things that were hard to get. So we had gotten hand sanitizer, which was like really very difficult to get. From the King's Distillery, they had changed their whole operation from making bourbon and gin to hand sanitizer. And it came in little bottles that used to carry gin. And it kind of had a slight odor of gin, but it was hand sanitizer. Without Olga's house, I am very sure that my aunt would not be alive at 95. I'm working on 96. And we have to ask Jo Riley if she can have a party.
Next, we will hear from another honoree, John Cronin, followed by honoree Kelly Graham.
Good evening, everyone. I'm John Cronin. I'm truly honored tonight to be an honoree for the Guild. I've been a part of the Guild for a long time, over 10 years. I truly love being involved with the Guild because I've never seen such a caring organization and truly people that put their heart and souls into the mission of the Guild. And I am looking forward to being part of this great organization for years to come. And I'm really excited every year helping out with all the events. And I can't wait to continue to go forward. Wish you guys the best of luck now and in the future.
My name is Kelly Graham. I was introduced to the Guild through social media. I saw that they needed PPE during COVID, so I got some friends to donate, and I went out and got some stuff. Then Easter just creeped up on us, and everybody was saying, oh, we're only going to be shut down for 3 weeks or so, but that wasn't the case. So we wanted to do something for the staff and the residents because we knew that they were not going to be able to see their families. So I got some local restaurants to donate food so they can have a beautiful Easter dinner. Then for, I think it was either Thanksgiving or Christmas, we did the dinners again. And my husband and I and my kids, we traveled all to the houses and gave them their food. And it was the greatest feeling ever. As a mom with a child with Down syndrome, he's 15, and I would hope one day that, he would be here. And someone would follow in the footsteps to do the same thing as I did. One little thing makes people happy.
What is your hope for the future?
My hope for the future is that people look at our children as someone, not as, something that was like left behind. And I want one day that, people want them, people see that they can do. They just need a little bit more help, but they can be anything they want to be. I pray my son is president one day. But, I just hope and pray that people will just love our community and help our community. And, I'd say I love them. I love seeing them walking around in the neighborhood. and it just makes my heart happy.
Will you continue to support the
Absolutely, absolutely. I was just discussing with Helen that I want to do another GoFundMe and do the dinners again for Thanksgiving and hopefully for Christmas. It's family. It's definitely family, and this is a place where I want my son to be when he becomes of age, and you know, it's definitely a family.
Before we continue hearing from our other honorees, we'd like to show you this special video clip of GEC program participants, staff, and friends performing the song Lean on Me. Today in 2021, that song has a greater message and a greater meaning.
Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow, but if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can fill those of your needs that you won't let show. You just call on your brother when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Maybe you can call me.
Our next set of honorees worked as a team to help the GEC. Taylor Harlow, followed by Susan Som.
Hi everyone, my name is Taylor Neiman and my family friend is your colleague Susan Som. I've always heard such incredible stories of the amazing work that you all do with people with disabilities that when I had the opportunity to help out in just a small little way to create your GoFundMe page, I just jumped on it, and I'm really proud of everything that you all are doing, and really thank you so much.
Well, the pandemic was really an interesting time for all of us. I myself early on was COVID positive and was rather sick for several weeks. So I spent that time, I think, being reflective of my own personal life and certainly of my work life. And when I got healthy and I had a full recovery, thank God, I went around to all the residences to see the individuals and how they were faring during this pandemic. And I've always been incredibly impressed with the staff we have in the residential department. But in particular, during the pandemic, I was astounded by the love and the dedication that I saw. Managers, assistant managers, and direct support professionals were helping to bathe sick individuals, taking them to the hospital during the early stages when they couldn't even stay in the hospital with our individuals. Many of them did what's called shelter in place. They stayed at the residence, leaving their own families to stay with those at the Guild family
for a week at a time. We were able to keep most of our individuals healthy because of that, but the dedication was something that I will take to the grave with me, what I saw, and instantly I knew I had to do more than my normal job duties at the Guild. So I decided to enlist a friend on the West Coast, a young lady named Taylor Neiman, figuring we'd raise more money with LA working with New York, and we developed a GoFundMe page, in particular to give a little extra to those direct support professionals and to those middle management people that I just saw go so above and beyond. It's cliche, but there's no words to say what I saw and how dedicated they were. I'm very proud to say we made phone calls. We did a lot of outreach via emails. Our hot contact, she's a business entrepreneur on the West Coast, and together between the GoFundMe and personal checks, we raised about $50,000 for GEC. I'm always hopeful. I've been employed at the Guild for like 30 years, and I think it's a wonderful place to work. I've had other career choices, but always had my foot at least part-time at the Guild, and I consider it home. I think wonderful group of people work here, and I am hopeful because of everything positive I saw during such a difficult time. Only teaches me that there's more wonderful times to come as we ease out of this pandemic.
Now we will hear from honorees Gary and Deborah Mirabella.
Hi, I'm Gary Mirabella.
And I'm Deborah Mirabella from the Max Challenge of Bay Ridge. We're fortunate that two of our employees who started as members, Jen and Michelle, work here, and we learned about the Guild. I mean, obviously the Guild's been around in Bay Ridge a long time, but we really learned about the great work that they do from the two of them. Obviously, our business being shut down, we converted instantly to a virtual fitness program, and we were Zooming in from pretty much day one, from March 16th with our members. And very quickly, with everybody realizing that it was going to be longer than 2 weeks, Jenny and close to us, and we realized that everyone at the Guild was home and not getting any of the services that they were used to. And we figured, hey, well, we're doing this virtual program anyway. There's no reason why we can't get them up and moving and working out with us. So we started what we called midday moving, and it was exclusively for them, and we would meet in with them and Zoom in with them and get to know them and interact and do fun theme workouts and have them wear costumes and whatever it was to just make them have fun and feel like they were getting out of their own space for a little while. So as a mother of a special needs child, I realized not getting their services and the interaction that they needed every day, we wanted to just do our best to kind of fill the gaps and help the families. And it was great because we got to know their families and their pets and their moms, and it was just a great experience for us. We love it and we can't wait to meet them in person.
Well, it's everything, right? It keeps us busy, it keeps them moving, it keeps them motivated. So I think this program is everything because it keeps us in track of a normal everyday life, especially during the pandemic, to wake up every day and see us joking around, and the program in general, keeping the family together. So I think it's very extremely important.
And we talk nutrition, right? We went to some nutrition workshops as well. But yeah, I think getting them moving and getting their exercise, showing their moms and that they could do it alongside, it was a lot of fun. We got a great experience, and yeah, I want to figure out a way to kind of do something live with them. And well, beyond the Zoom classes, we actually also did some fundraising in the beginning of the pandemic to help support those who didn't have devices. So every year we do the Max Day of Giving at the Max, and because we didn't run our typical event, we did it virtually. So we had special order masks that before masks were even popular, we kind of sold to the members, and all the funds that we generated, we gave to Jenny, and I want to say it was either $2,000 or $4,000. I think we did 2 separate donations, and they bought devices, right? So for the members who were stuck, the Guild members who were stuck at home without devices. So that made us really proud, because it was one thing to have that personal connection and help them and donate our time, but it was extra special to have the members get involved. And listen, our members are Bay Ridge people. They love the Guild. Many of our members have had family members who are currently receiving services or have in the past, and they're very connected to the Guild, so it was a very easy thing to just tell everybody, hey, listen, we got to raise some funds, and virtually we did it, and that's something I'm proud of as well. Fundraising is a part of what we do naturally anyway, so we hope to continue, especially now that we can have more in-person events with the Guild, that we can, you know, organize something that gets the members involved. You know, I know everybody's name who we Zoomed in with every day, and I want nothing more than to give them their hugs that we promised. So, you know, I'm going to talk to Jenny and figure out how do we continue our partnership, whether it's through an exercise program or continued fundraising events. I don't see the relationship ending.
What comes to mind when you think about the Guild?
I'm going to say friendship. That's the big part I think I took out of the Zooming. In the beginning, everybody getting on, talking, and just their friendships that were formed, and then afterwards they would always stay on and just converse, and I felt that would be the big thing, family and friendship.
We'd leave them on, let them all talk, and we'd stay and talk to them, and
That's wonderful.
It is our privilege, what we've done for the Guild, so to be thanked for it is just, you know, really next level, and we're grateful for it, and we look forward to just watching the organization get stronger again, because, you know, I know you guys took a serious hit, and, you know, you're in my prayers, and you're certainly in our plans to help with whatever we could do going forward.
In this special video presentation, you will see how GEC program participants keep active and have lots of fun. In the years that I've had the privilege to work with the Guild, I've been honored to meet incredible people, both clients and staff. I truly feel like a member of the family and will always try to help out whenever you all need. For now, though, we need to raise some funds. Please remember to text GEC to number 56512 to make a contribution to the GEC. You can make a difference. After the close of this program, please go on to the Guild for Exceptional Children's Facebook or YouTube pages to view the live drawing. Now, Joe Riley, GEC's Executive Director and CEO, will conduct the live drawing.